Hey, I want to share with you how I doubled my PVA without any patient education. And I'm not talking about starting with a 20 PVA. Talking about starting with a 50 PVA. And so I joined three management groups, actually four management groups. And through the first 11 years in four management groups, hey, they got me from a 19 coming out of school all the way to a 50 PVA. So they helped me a ton. But what they were doing, the method they were using was patient education. That means you're giving people information. And that's great. And I did it for years, man. And I shouted from the rooftops, had the megaphone. I'm talking about the principle, and I could not get over a 50 PVA. Now, 50 PVA, when you got a spinal correction 3 times a week, that's about 3.5 months. Every 3.5 months, I had to rebuild my practice. That meant at the volume that I was at a 50 PVA, I had to get 40 new patients every month just to keep it at that volume. And that was hard work. Finally, after 11 years, it was Wednesday night at 5:30, and I'm looking at and I'm thinking, man, how many of these people, it's probably about 25 people in my office, how many of these people were with me more than 6 months ago? And the answer was about 70% were within 6 months. And here's what I did. I hung my head because to me, chiropractic was a lifestyle. And what I said was, I want to know, how do I get 90% of all patients to look at chiropractic like I do? How do I get them to ask me to bring their family members? Because if they really got lifestyle, they would be asking me to bring their family, and they would be bringing other people. And so I started studying human behavior. And here's what I learned: patient education. Here's the research on patient education. And God, I forget source right now, but I found it in PubMed. Says that 40 to 80% of the information, doctors' recommendations that a doctor gives to a patient is forgotten immediately. Immediately. The other 60 to 20% is more incorrect. And then I saw this other study: 50% of information is forgotten in an hour, 70% in a day, 90% in a week. And that's the way I felt with patient education. That did get me to a PVA, but I figure most of that PVA was my personality, because I was fired up about the principle. And so then I learned this isn't going to work. But what is chiropractic lifestyle? I look at it like that's a belief system. That is way different. Belief systems get wired into your subconscious mind and become an automatic behavior. Hey, when a person, let's use religion as an example. If a person finds the Lord, and it changes their whole life, you don't have to remind them to go to church. They have a belief system. They see things, right? They believe without seeing. They believe in God, can't see God. You don't have to tell them to talk to their friends. You don't have to tell them to bring people to church. You don't have to tell them what service to go to. They do it automatically. So I started figuring out, how do you change belief systems? I developed my own script. I learned human behavior. And then I found out it's not what you say, it's what you do. What do? You ask more questions. You get multiple agreements. You speak simply. And what is that? The principle is health is energy. And here it is right here. So I would say, hey, when you came in, when you learned this today, did you know you didn't know your spinal nervous system carried energy? Your spinal cord carried energy to make all your organs work and keep you alive and healthy. So you didn't know health was energy. And they'll say no. So did you come in with health problems, or did you have an energy problem? Now, right there, if they put it together, they'll say, I had an energy problem. And then I'd say, no, you had health conditions. You had several health conditions, but you only had one problem. What was that problem? So if health is energy, what one problem did you have? And they'll say, I had an energy problem. So what part of the rest of your life do you want to have great energy and great health? They'll say, the rest of my life. So now, what part of the rest of your life are you going to take care of your spine and nervous system every week and make this your healthcare lifestyle, right? And they'll say, this is it, doc, for the rest of my life. Great. Bring your family. Look at those series of questions. Those change beliefs right on day one. Hey, did your other pain-based chiropractor tell you this? Did they tell you about energy in the nervous system? Did they tell you about subluxations? Did they tell you when you block that energy, it creates disease in the organs? Did they tell you that? No. So you didn't know, you didn't take care of your spine and nervous system the first 46 years. That's why you're showing up 5 subluxations, 6 postural distortions, and 18 different health problems. Can you see why you have these problems today? This is at the end of day one. They'll say yes. Can you see why when people learn this, this becomes their healthcare lifestyle? Now, you didn't say to that person, but you said when people learn this, what are you doing? Evoking social proof. Hey, when everybody else learns this, here's what they do. Can you see why they do that? Yes. So tomorrow we're going to talk about how you want to take care of your health and the health of your family for the rest of your life. Can you see why you want to bring your husband Jim when we go through those x-rays tomorrow? Look at all these little nuggets. What am I doing? I'm changing belief systems. When I learned to change beliefs, we went from a 50 PVA, which is actually a pretty good PVA, to 100 PVA. Isn't that fascinating? Because once they believed it, they lived it. And I didn't have to remind them about their appointments because they already believed it. They had purpose. We didn't create a practice. We created a movement. We didn't create patients. We created leaders. And they built my practice for me. We went through the roof. And then guess what I got? Freedom. I got time freedom. I got financial freedom, profitability, sustainability, freedom that I could come and go as I want. And when I was ready to sell my practice, we sold it in 1 month. To who? Not to a chiropractor that wanted to buy it. The broker bought it. The broker who I hired to sell my practice brought 2 people and then bought it himself in 3 weeks because he said, I've never seen a practice like this. Why? Because people came for themselves, not for me. Hey, you want to work on your practice rather than in your practice? Change beliefs. 80 to 100 PVA. You don't need anything else. Have the right team, the right systems, the right purpose, the right communication, the right belief system, and you'll have all the freedom you want. Hey, check on the link below how I mastered practice and went from working on my practice rather than in my practice. Check out that 5-day challenge and sign up because we're having that at the end of the month, July 29th to August 2nd. All right. Love you guys. Peace.